Differentiation, whether it's in a blended and online learning format or whether it's in a face-to-face setting, it's just simply good teaching. It should always be student-centered, not teacher-centric. In order to truly differentiate, we need to recognize the cognitive ability of each student in the room, their individual skills, and then their individual physical and emotional maturity. We also need to focus and honor their student backgrounds, their interests, and their passions. And finally, we need to have standards in place. Standards should be the foundation of what we do, but good quality instruction is not standards dictated. It's always important that we remember that we're teaching students, not simply teaching standards. Differentiated instruction can be technology rich, but it should never be technology driven. We need to remember the Triple E framework, that technology should be integrated in order to engage, enhance, and extend learning, not just integrated in order to have technology. It should always be used with a purpose, never because of a mandate. Differentiated instruction is informed by formative assessment. Formative assessment is the ongoing taking the temperature of each student to recognize what they understand and what they still need to work on and how they're connecting or not connecting and how they're engaging or not engaging. A great way to include formative assessment is to use various types of peer assessment. When students are writing, they can conference together or they can use Google Docs, but to really have students work together to visit their writing, write about their writing, write about each other's writing, and really dig into the concepts and the rubrics and the standards and to give quality peer feedback. Self-assessment is huge as well. One of our goals is to always have students do their own goal setting and also having them do their own assessment and then figure out what they need to continue to work on is a great way to have this ongoing formative assessment, but also have students really take charge of their own learning. And finally, delay the grade assessment is a way to formatively figure out where students are at, but not give them a final grade. Instead, just give feedback. That way, students can revisit and rework things and understand that writing is always a process, it's never final. So, by delaying the grade, it allows students to really dig much deeper and at the end of the day, create a much better product. A differentiated classroom should be guided by student choice. In the English language arts classroom, there are so many ways to incorporate choice and keep student choice at the center. Guided choice in reading is a critical way to do this. Students want to have some choice and some power and some autonomy. So it shouldn't be a free-for-all. Students can't choose whatever they want to read. That just leads to plagiarized book reports and low-level critical thinking. But if the list of books or the list of texts is teacher curated so that reading levels are recognized and content is controlled, and then students choose from that list, they definitely have more buy-in and more engagement, and that gives them some autonomy and some choice in the classroom. Discussions about literature should also be student-led. If the teacher is just asking the questions, then the teacher is the one who's dictating the learning and dictating the understanding. So instead, students should lead discussions, whether it's by Socratic seminars or fish bowls or book talks, or collaborative annotation or discussion boards. There are so many ways to have students lead the discussion. And that way the teacher can be the guide on the side. They can be lurking and they can occasionally help redirect or maybe probe deeper, but students really run the discussions. And then when students are writing and designing research projects, their ideas should be student curated and student designed. That way they can research about their passions and they can create research projects that they're really interested in and that are unique, absolutely unique to each individual student. And then students can design and publish their own pieces online. That way they can join the global community about their passion, and they can share their research with the world, and they can really see the authenticity and the purpose of what they're doing. Differentiated instruction is education. It's great education with a personal touch. However, it's not a corporate driven architecture schematic. I keep seeing business cards with the title Learning Architect. And although that sounds really pretty and really fancy, we're not building buildings, we're teaching students. And so it's important that we use language that continues to focus on the humanity of the students and doesn't turn them into some sort of building that we're creating. Differentiated instruction should never be devoid of human contact. If we're just sitting them in front of a computer and they're using some sort of corporate software and they're not interacting with each other and with humanity, we're isolating them. Yes, it's individualized, but they are completely alone. It ends up being data driven, and data driven is good, but instruction should never be data focused. The purpose of whatever we do should not be to get data. The purpose of whatever we do should be the students in the room. That way we can nurture and foster human communication and cooperation and connections. Differentiated instruction can be technology rich, and it should be face to face in some capacity. That way we can nurture each individual student to make connections with each other, to foster and build communication skills and cooperation skills, and to really plug into the humanity of each student so that they can plug into the humanity of the world.